communications that count. Because when I first opened my health club 9 years ago, to the tune of about $500,000, I was told by my advisors, including my accountant and others, that cash was king. Well, I soon realized that running a business where your philosophy that cash is king means that you're running a business based on transaction. So instead, I put on my journalist hat and I decided, no, in business, communication is king. Because communication will help you build the relationships that will in turn build a thriving business. So on this slide, I want you to add 3 quick notes to it. If I could offer you a litmus test for you to take back as a leader, your communication should be 3 things. It should be clear, it should be concise, and it should have some conviction. So let me give you an example of how John and Carl used this exact litmus test today. So they were very clear at the beginning and very confident. When Carl put up the slide to show the trajectory of growth, it was like 68% growth. That's just like clear and confident. You want to follow him. Then next, he was super concise and specific in his recommendations to us, which was, hey, there's 4.4 average months of a back psychology. You got to increase that number to be successful. Really clear and concise, right? And then the third was our leaders up here today showed a lot of conviction, raw emotion. You saw John sharing very authentically about what it was like to struggle in life, struggle as a leader, and proceed. So if you could take all of your communications to your team through that simple litmus test, they would listen more and they would mimic that same behavior. So, look at this pretty cat I found for you. It's not attractive. Don't you want to take that kitty cat home? So, it looks like a gremlin. Sandy, it looks like a gremlin. Well, here's the deal. When I found out that I was going to have an opportunity to speak to you about communication, I went on my team's Facebook page and I wrote on there, hey, how do you like to receive communication? How do you want to be communicated to? And luckily, I got 58 different answers within like an hour. So the bottom line is that there's not just one way to communicate, right? That you need to find the ways that work best for you and really own those. To give you an example, in that Facebook thread, I heard everything from, lady, you send me anything with a 3-hole punch that I can put in a binder and I want it. To another one that was like, yeah, anything that fits on a tweet, I want to know about. So we're talking about like chapters of information in a binder or something as concise as 140 characters. People need to receive information in a lot of different ways. So what I wanted to share with you from my team were just a few best practices that I have used that you can take and make your own. One of the newer ways that we're communicating on my team is called tips from the trenches. And this came out of the idea that people want just simple, clear communication. How many coaches do you have who join and say, I feel overwhelmed, there's so much content in the Coach Online office and with Rockford or Coach Basics that I'd rather just stay stagnant than try to move, right? So tips from the trenches on my team has to be 2 minutes or less and has to be just really simple, clear business building tips. Anything from how to start your first minute of your GSR call to, we had one today about the importance of a success partner, but just 2 minutes or less. It's pinned to the top of our Facebook page. It stays there for a week and we redo it with a new one. People like to be able to digest that quickly. Weekly Diamond Zoom calls, I'm sure many of you are doing these already. The simple agenda for our weekly Diamond Zooms is that about 20% of the content at the beginning comes from corporate. What's happening at corporate that we feel like the diamonds should know about to be able to pass along their teams. So I view it as star diamonds and above. The people here are generally in the business of trying to inspire and motivate and set the vibe of your tribe. But a lot of the daily communication and interaction needs to happen at the level of a diamond. So on these Diamond Zooms, we want to make sure that our diamonds know, what the upcoming events are and what the upcoming featured products, all of that kind of just corporate logistics we want to make sure people are armed with so they can go back and share. The other 80% of our time together should be spent on masterminding and sharing best practices. Right, so I believe what Jeff and Michael were sharing earlier today wholeheartedly, that the future growth of your business is centered solely on these diamonds. And if you can help them mastermind and share with each other, your business will grow. E-newsletter is simple. I think you all understand what that means. Just basic, like 411 type of information going out to your team about deadlines and upcoming calls, and maybe featuring a coach or recognizing rank advancements, whether you do that over email or in your Facebook group. Team calls. We model our team calls just like the National Wake Up Call. So they get used to digesting information in that same way. So the first Thursday of the month is our team call. We start with recognition, just like the Wake Up Call. Then we go into individual coach stories on a topic. So whether it was the pendulum has to swing to failure in order to find success, that's one of my favorite calls. We featured coaches who fit that topic. So I like having topics and featuring coaches who fit it. We feature coaches at all different levels of the business to make sure that the call is speaking to everybody. At the end of that, we do fun trivia on our Facebook pages and give out really cool prizes afterward for people who are on the call and listened in intently. And then finally, graphics to share really just means, I know a lot of you already do this, I take some of yours and make them my own, that if you created like a Coach Basics program, at the end of it, creating a graphic that just says, congrats, Team Rockstar Fit, you graduated from Rock the Basics. Giving one graphic that the rest of your team can then go implement and share on social media. So how can you make it easier for your leaders to communicate by providing them some just really simple tools? Let's see. Next, don't cry wolf. Really want you to think about, what I've had to think about is what's really urgent versus what do we just want them to know? And if you're always crying wolf, your team will start to tune you out, I believe. So here's the difference. My son Colt suffers from migraines, unfortunately. And yes, I know about Shakeology, and yes, he drinks it, all right? But the other week, he was having a migraine, and he screamed, Mom! And I came running upstairs, my heart is pounding. I feel terrible for him. Having a migraine, everything in my day shifted to him. The next, actually 4 days later, he's upstairs in my office, and he screams, Mom! So I go running upstairs, like, I can't believe another migraine, this is terrible. And he points at the computer, he's like, hey Mom, can you show me how to save this Roblox game? I just built a new robot. And I was like, what? You've got to differentiate between what's urgent, and this doesn't make sense to him, 411, 911, but the idea is that if you're crying wolf, buddy, I'm not going to know when it's important. So here's the deal. 411 information would be when the next team call is, you don't forget about the National Wake Up Call, when is your next group starting, information you definitely want your team to know about. But could you differentiate that a little bit from a 911, which might be something like what came out recently about bonus buying. If something comes out like bonus buying and ranks and money and things are at risk, you might want to have a way to make that more urgent by saving that really urgent communication for something like that. This is the all caps explanation point, sending it, maybe sending it multiple times. Issues like bonus buying, issues like summit tickets are going on sale, and 2,000 have already gone in the first 2 seconds, you might want to try to register. Right, so things that are really urgent. White glove treatment for new coaches is not convenient at all. I wish I could say I was stellar at this. I'm absolutely not. I'm sharing it as what would be a best practice. And this is taking your new coaches and actually piecing out this information in a private Facebook message or a text or a phone call. Taking the initiative to call and say, hey Stacy, we've got a team training starting Monday. Want to make sure you understand what that is. Going that extra mile, white glove treatment for your brand new people, to just give that information to them just one-on-one, really simple and clearly so they feel like you're speaking directly to them. Then you can fold them into the larger mass emails and mass posts. I hope that makes sense. And the last one, pulse out information in small doses and then fold them into larger communication. Here's the visual I have. So it's ugly. I'm going to now put it on you, and now you're going to have to stick with this visual for the rest of the leadership. Did you ever see the movie with John Candy called The Great Outdoors? Yeah, okay, so remember when he goes to the restaurant, he has to eat that porterhouse, and if he eats it, like he gets up on the wall of fame? Well, what happens when he eats this huge porterhouse steak? He vomited out back. It was really disgusting, right? So now I think about when I'm sending out a big email, even a new coach welcome email, I really need to change it, because my first line of my new coach welcome email is, I'm so sorry, this is so much information. Well, I should probably just change that to be smaller bits of information. If you want them to take action on the information you're bringing back from here, make it really simple. You have an opportunity to qualify for a new leadership event. It's in January. You need to be a qualifying 2-star this year. If this is you, if you strive for this, write me back and we'll connect. Simple, clear, concise, small doses of information. And then finally, just a reminder to you that communication needs to be consistent. You know, if you've got a team call, if you have a regular email that goes out, keep it consistent, but don't be afraid to dress it up. It can be the same call, the same Facebook page, the same thing, the same pig, just put some different lipstick on it to make it more interesting. All right, so they want to expect to hear from you, they want to know that you're going to reach out to them, but make your communication interesting by giving it a different spin, changing up your Facebook banner, changing up the theme of your team call, doing something different and unique, always to keep them guessing. So thank you. I hope you took some notes. I tried to talk fast. I hope this was good information for you.